What's the connection between the jungle and listening well in English? Before I answer this question, let me start with a quote from a Singaporean English language learner which talks about her problems with listening. I believe I need to learn what the word sounds like in a sentence. Because sometimes when a familiar word is used in a sentence, I couldn't catch it. Maybe it changes somewhere when it is used in a sentence. Now, if Ying hadn't been in an academic research study, I think her reaction would have been a little bit more like this.
Oh! 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 Oh!
Now, does that sound familiar to you when you try to listen to something in English? Alright, so where does the jungle fit into listening to English? Well, Richard Cauldwell, in his excellent book, Phonology for Listening, introduces 3 metaphors to explain the different types of listenings that English learners hear. The 3 metaphors are the greenhouse, the garden, and the jungle. Let's look at these 3 types of listenings in a little bit more detail. The greenhouse. The greenhouse is one of Richard Cauldwell's metaphors for listening in English. In the greenhouse, the individual words are found in their own pots. They're not influenced by sounds or words around them. So for example, when you go to an online dictionary, you'll hear the citation form. And the citation form is the greenhouse. It's the perfect form of the word, uninfluenced by anything at all. In the classroom, you'll often hear greenhouse forms of a word. Let's listen to some greenhouse.
What are you doing tonight?
The garden. Ooh, aren't those flowers pretty? Okay, so this is the garden. And in a garden, everything's nice and organized. We've planned where we want our plants to go. And compared with the greenhouse, they're no longer in separate pots. They all start to come together. So what does this mean for listening in English? Well, the garden is the type of dialogues you listen to in the English classroom. The sounds are coming together, but they're done in a nice rule-based and orderly way. So let's look at our example sentence.
What are ya doing tonight?
Welcome to the jungle. This is the jungle, and in the jungle, listening becomes a really messy, unruly experience. It becomes really hard to find out where a word begins and where it ends. Do you remember those rules from the garden? Well, they don't apply in the jungle. So when listening to a native speaker, it can become a really scary experience. Okay, to sum up, let's look at our example sentence in the greenhouse, the garden, and the jungle. So, the greenhouse. What are you doing tonight? So remember, the greenhouse, the words are all in their individual pots. So they're not influencing each other, and they're in their perfect citation form. The garden. What are you
doing tonight? What are you doing tonight? Remember, in the garden, words are starting to come together. So you can hear in this example, you have what and are, and the t sound connects up to the vowel sound of are, and it becomes wata, wata. And also, we get the weak form of you, which is y. What are ya? What are ya? What are you doing tonight? Finally, the jungle. Now, in the jungle, everything gets a bit messy, so listen really carefully. What are you doing tonight? What are you doing tonight? What are you doing tonight? So in this one, the t sound at the end of what actually becomes a d sound, and we also connect up to the following word. And also the r just becomes a, so it becomes what are ya? And we've got to remember you and the very weak form of that, which is y. So it becomes what are ya? What are ya? And then in doing, we actually lose the sound, and it becomes more just of a sound. So it becomes doing. And then with tonight, we lost the t, so it becomes a night. What are you doing tonight? Also, in the jungle, you lose those sort of stressed syllables that you see in the citation or greenhouse form of the word. So, one more time. What are you doing tonight? What are you doing tonight? So in this series, Jungle Listening, we're going to be looking at things like weak forms of function words, extreme speed, and word clusters. Oh, one more thing. You might have noticed the t-shirts. They represent different kinds of language learners who have problems with English. This one's Yuki, and she's from Japan. She represents listening, and she's afraid to have conversations in English because whenever someone starts to speak to her, she can't understand what they're saying. Remember to sledgehammer that subscribe button, hit that bell for reminders, and most importantly, start smashing English language barriers today.